Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestle Horror. Greetings, viewers and listeners. Meat Hook Jim here, along with my co-host Donnie Hoover. We are the Wrestle Horror Podcast. Donnie, how's it going today, man?
Oh, man, doing pretty good. Nice and sunny outside. Got some good weather, so can't complain. Been a good weekend.
Yeah, but it has been a hot weekend again.
Yeah, I kind of overdid it yesterday. I was out doing some grass cutting and some yard work and working on the pool, and I was out there about 3 or 4 hours straight, and it took a toll on me. I felt like I got hit by a train. I was like, it wore me out.
Me, on the other hand, I was sitting in the air conditioning, working on computers and tweaking some stuff for the show. We're going to bring out some new stuff in the near future. I'm working on a new intro, a new outro. We're just doing everything we can to make Wrestle Horror better for you, the viewer and listener, especially those videos I keep working on. It. I've got another one. I've uploaded another one.
Oh, yeah.
I got a whole bunch more to go, but
yeah, and that's another thing. We're gonna start episode 1 and start redoing stuff like updating the show notes and putting in some helpful links for people and get this stuff done right and updated and back in order. So yeah, we got some work ahead of us, but we got us a big to-do list, and we're just gonna start chipping away at it one by one.
We do, and you know what? Anytime you guys have any suggestions, comments, criticisms, please let us know. We want to make the show as good as we can for you, the listener.
Yep.
Without you guys, we don't have a show.
Right.
So just let us know. And I'm serious. If there's something you don't like, please tell us. We can fix it. And if there's something you do like, absolutely tell us so we can make it even better.
Right. Add to it. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Wrestle Horror. We cover a little bit of both. We're dancing around wrestling horror, and haunted houses, and that's what we do. I mean,
even that's throwing in a little paranormal in there every now and again. Very
true, very true. And speaking of that, I've got to figure out when I'm going to be able to get up there and do that investigation we've been talking about.
Oh yeah. Just let me know when you'd be able to, and we'll get it set up.
Okay. Well, hopefully I'll be able to buy that new equipment soon.
Right, there you go.
Which will make a big difference. But let's talk about what's going on in the haunt world right now.
Okay.
Let me preface this before by saying I had another plan for this show, as my daughter, as you guys have heard, is a trainee who just recently graduated, but still working under Cody. I was going to try to talk her into coming on the show with us, but she's a little camera shy still, which is kind of odd for a pro wrestler.
Well, Rick, I'm about to come down there with a camcorder, old style camcorder, and just follow her around and just shove it in her face the whole time. Just follow her wherever she goes.
So she ended up taking a nap, and then I just went downstairs for a few minutes before we started this, and she's gone.
Oh, nice.
I believe her mother took her over to her friend's house so she could play video games for the rest of the day. So,
there you go. Taking a break from the action.
Yeah. So anyway, what we're going to talk about is the state of the haunted house situation and some things in wrestling. But I want to start out with the fact that haunted houses keep closing left and right.
Yeah, keep dropping like flies, it seems like.
And the big news this past week, the one nobody really wanted to hear, is Universal's Halloween Horror Nights has been canceled in both Orlando and Hollywood. There will be no show this year, and that's huge. I mean,
yeah, that was a big hit.
It was, and when I saw that, it's like, my heart sank. But people aren't taking, this self-distancing and personal protection seriously, so they really didn't have a choice.
Right.
They're trying to make sure their customers during the day are safe, and they need to take that time where Horror Nights will be going to clean and sanitize everything for the next day. I understand their business decision, and that's a huge hit for them because I mean, it costs what, like $60 a pop to get in that at least.
Oh yeah, it's not cheap.
No, it's not, but well worth it. Well
Oh
worth
yeah.
it. I've been a couple of times, and
Hmm.
it was a disappointment, you know. So haunts are still closing, and that's the big thing that's going on in the haunt world. I mean, like I've been Donnie and I have been talking about Scare Factor,
Yeah. Hmm.
and I am on their site right now, and we're going to talk since we're based in Ohio, we're going to talk about tri-state right now, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana. And if we go into Kentucky, let's see here, we've got 2 confirmed closed, and if it'll open up, I'll tell you where they are.
Yeah, I'm on there now. It looks like Kentucky Kingdom Howl-O-Scream in Louisville
Yeah.
and Lassiter Haunted Trail in Louisville.
Okay.
They've both confirmed closed so far.
You know, and if they're smaller haunts, that's tough for everybody, you know. But better safe than sorry, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta do what's best for not only your business but for the people as well. You know.
Right. It's not all about the money. I mean, somebody made a post earlier this week about up in Niagara Falls. They've got the Maid of the Mist, and they've got the Hornblower. The Maid of the Mist is on the U.S. side. The Hornblower is on the Canadian side. And we're doing something wrong because I saw a picture of both boats. And the Maid of the Mist was at half capacity, which means there's probably about, I don't know, 150 people on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hornblower had 6 people on the boat, all completely separated.
Right.
Are attractions that important right now? No.
Right. Yeah.
I think your health's a little more important.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, the attractions, you know, like you said, unfortunately, some of them is not going to make it through this, but for the most part, the attractions will still be there when this is all over. So, you know,
Right.
Why risk it?
Absolutely. You know, and I'm going into Indiana right now, and it looks like a lot of places are planning to open in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much. There's only one closure, and I must have shot right by it because I don't see it.
Haunted Castle in Black Forest and Fort Wayne.
Yeah, Donnie's on top of it, isn't he?
I'm with you. I got it up myself. I'm with you.
There it is. Yep. I think they made the right decision. Mm-hmm. But these others I hope these others that are planning on opening are preparing for all the things they need to keep people safe.
Right. Yeah. Make sure they abide by the rules and the CDC requirements and all that. Yeah. And that's going to, like I said, that along, even with wrestling, there's going to be so many rules and regulations that they're going to have to add and change to comply with this pandemic, that it's going to be a interesting season to see who's able to do it and who's not, you know?
Right. You know, and, you know, wrestling still isn't a thing in Ohio, but
it probably won't be for the rest of the year, I'm guessing. Yeah,
that's the way it's looking. Indiana has wrestling. Pennsylvania has wrestling. But the governor and the OAC are not big fans of wrestling, apparently, and aren't in a rush to open them up.
Yeah.
But I'm looking.
Not just wrestling either. They're not opening up boxing or MMA, anything like that. So
any combat sports.
Mm-mm.
So moving on to Ohio, our home state, the Haunted Hoorah is not opening. And that's in Marion, Ohio. Haunted Mountain in Chillicothe has confirmed they are not opening.
Mm-hmm.
Hauntville in Elyria, which I know the guys up there, they're not opening.
Mm-hmm.
Jail of Terror in Newark is confirmed not opening. There are still quite a few that are planning to open.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And there's one more in this list. I'm trying to find it.
Twisted Trails.
Twisted Trails. Yeah, and I know the owner of Twisted Trails.
Yeah, And so you know a lot more people in the haunt community than I do because you've been around so long. Have you talked to any of these people that's closed and gotten their take on why and what their situation is by chance?
I have not, but I am going to reach out to my friend at Twisted Trails
Hmm.
and see if I can maybe even get him to come on the show.
Yeah, that'd be good. Maybe we could pick their brain on their thought process and see if there's anything we can do to help them out for next season or whatever.
You know? And I might even be able to get in touch with somebody at the Hoorah through Shane Howard.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I know he wanted me to come up and work with him this season for a day.
Hmm.
And well, no, that's pretty much not going to happen.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
But
There's a lot in Ohio. I'm going through the list that are showing that they're still planning to be open.
oh
So,
yeah, yeah, quite a few, and places I've trained at before.
mhm.
Dark View in Toronto is going to open. You know, I know the guys at Dark View. Great group of people. It's a great haunt out in the middle of nowhere, which kind of helps.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and then Backwoods Oddities, again, people I've trained, they plan on opening. I was just in touch with the owner, Alan Shell, yesterday.
We've had him on the show.
Yeah, we had him on the show before, and I talked to him yesterday. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be talking to him again tonight on my Big Scary Show podcast
Nice.
because we're doing a thing on charity haunts. So,
There you go.
but there's a lot of unknowns too as to whether or not they're going to open, and they're waiting to see how things progress. And quite frankly, with the state of things now, it's going to be hard because we're on the verge of another shutdown
Yeah. It seems that way, unfortunately.
because too many people are fighting this. Too many people believe this is not real. This is as real as it gets, folks.
Right.
People are not dying for no reason.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, I'll be helping Carnage out this year here in Columbus, and I know they still have confirmed that they're planning to open, but I also do know that are taking some big steps to make it as safe and as healthy as possible. They're going to have all the the stuff needed, and they're going to follow all the guidelines, and whatever we need to disinfect we're going to do, and hand sanitizer and face mask, and I know they're getting that all set up. So we'll, like I said, as long as the haunts can figure out a way to do it safely and all that, then I'm all for it. But yeah, like I said, who's going to put that much effort into it and who's not? It goes to people that want to wear a mask, and people that are still fighting it and don't want to wear a mask. Kind of the same scenario.
Well, as we've discussed before, you and Jason both twisted my arm about coming up for a night. So
Yeah, we didn't give you much of a choice.
they threatened me. So I guess I got to come up and at least work one night.
All right.
But I guarantee you, if I do work that night, I'm going to scare the shit out of some people.
There you go. That's what it's all about. Heck, I'm doing zone captain this year, and I'm still planning on getting in there and having some fun. If I don't at least get one person a night as a zone captain, I don't feel like I'm doing a zone captain job good.
So this is the state of things, and we're going to talk. I mean, this has been a big topic for months now. So I hope it doesn't get a little dull with you guys. We're trying to keep you updated on the latest and what's going on in the haunt industry. But there's the wrestling business too. I mean, and what I wanted to bring up here is these smaller promotions like New Ohio Wrestling, like Future Great Wrestling down here in my town of Hamilton. Yeah, I know New Ohio Wrestling's pretty much just on the shelf right now until we know what's going on. But like Future Great Wrestling, they've got an arena that they pay for, and they can't pay for it because they're not putting on any shows.
Right.
So, it's really, it's coming down to the wire. So how are these people making the money? Any way they can. Future Great Wrestling has had 2 car washes. I just went and got my car washed yesterday for the second one, and I'm happy to report that they did well.
Good,
which
good.
helps them keep the doors open,
Hmm.
because they are still doing training with social distancing and no contact.
Right.
Cody's running them through a lot of cardio, but nobody's wrestling. It's all non-contact. And I've watched a couple of videos, and he's putting them to task,
Yep. Got to
really
keep them in shape. Just make them ready.
beefing up that cardio. But a neat thing is, now next week I've got tickets for it. Future Great Wrestling, and I don't mind giving them a free plug,
No, no, absolutely.
is doing a variety show. Okay, it's going to be in the arena. There is going to be no wrestling whatsoever. It is going to be a variety show.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's already got the parental advisory sticker on it, so
Yeah.
you can only imagine what's going to happen during this variety show. It's
Right.
just another way. It's another way for them to make money.
Yeah, and for people that don't understand a variety show, what all is it that they have planned? I know they have like comedians. They're going to have like singers.
Yeah,
People from the
exactly.
FGW roster is going to come in and do some kind of talent. It's like a talent show type of thing.
That's exactly what it is. It's a talent show. And there's going to be comedians. I know there's going to be a comedy act called Two Broke Wrestlers, which pretty much sums up a lot of independent wrestlers.
Right here.
I know my daughter is going to be singing something. Don't know what. But there's going to be a lot going on. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I might try, if they'll let me, I'll try to videotape some of it.
All right.
But these smaller promotions, especially if they have a building to pay for, they got to do something to keep the money coming in.
Yep, absolutely. And like I said, not that it's a good thing, but one of the things that helps us not be stressed out and hurting is we don't have a permanent building we have to pay for. Right. We always rent buildings, or we're working with the fair or the Arnold or whoever that provides the building for us. So basically we're not out any money every month having to pay for rent or utilities or whatever comes with owning their own building. And that's not the case for some of the other promotions like Future Great. Even though they can't run shows and earn income and make money, they still got to pay that mortgage and that rent. They still got those utilities they got to pay. And so I think they're doing great ideas and great stuff of coming up with alternatives to earning money to help keep that building open.
Well, definitely. I mean, Cody Hawk and Brian Levick are doing everything they can to keep things going, because they believe in Future Great, and there's a lot of Future Great fans down here that are dedicated. So that certainly does help. And me being one of them, I love going to see their shows. Donnie's been to a show before.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for wrestling to come back. But like Donnie said, in Ohio, it's probably not going to be till next year.
Yeah, I say it ain't looking good so far. So that's what we're kind of guessing. We'll just have to keep waiting and see.
Yeah, and damn it, I want to wear my red shoes.
Right. Yeah. Like I say, I was talking to Justin Dortch the other day, and he had a good point that for Ohio, it's all going to come down to next month when high school football and high school sports and all that comes up, because that's going to be the big turning point on if they allow high school contact sports to open, and how that's all going to play out. And I think even though the Ohio School Association and the Ohio Athletic Association are different entities, we're not bunched in with the high school sports. But I think it'll be a determining factor on, if they do allow contact sports in high school to resume in the fall, then that'll open the door for conversation of why can't MMA and wrestling and boxing. So I think next month in August is going to be a tell-all for or when we're going to be able to open things back up.
Well, we got to keep our fingers crossed. But if we're going to open up, people have to follow the rules.
Yep.
Wear a mask, damn it. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Like I said, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of them. I've said that before. I hate wearing them, but I still do when I have to,
Right. I'm not a big fan of them either. I mean, I went shopping with my wife last week at Walmart, and 10 minutes into it, I'm done. Because I got this mask on. Okay, I understand where people are coming from, but make no mistake, this shit is real.
Yep. And I know one thing: if you've smelled my breath, wearing that mask ain't very pleasant.
Yeah, well, just looking at you isn't pleasant.
Right? Yeah. The mask does. The mask helps, doesn't it?
Not that I'm Adonis or anything,
Right.
especially after you saw that video with me as J-Lo.
Yeah.
But seriously, we're just trying to keep it light and trying to keep everybody informed.
Mm-hmm.
We'll sit here and kid around all day long if that's what it takes to get you to listen. I mean,
Right. Yep.
we'll crack on each other, and
That's what we do.
yeah. But I know wrestlers are ready to get back in the ring, Donnie.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's even some Ohio wrestlers that are doing the Indiana, Pennsylvania shows,
Right.
just so they can get back in the ring and get some work in. And so yeah, I don't blame them. I just
Definitely. I know one of our former guests, Shauna Reed, has been wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And Madman Fulton's been out there wrestling again.
Yeah, I seen Queen Amy was just at an IWC show here last week. I think a week or two ago.
I'm gonna have to see if we can get Madman back on here sometime.
Yeah.
Talk about things. But the guys in Ohio that want to wrestle, I understand that. I mean, I'm not a wrestler. You know that. I'm a ring announcer. I want to get in and ring announce.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Just being in the environment, period.
Yeah, I mean, I was so disappointed back in March when I couldn't do my ring announcer duties, and do some color commentary, which I'm still working on. I'm terrible at it, but
yeah, repetition is the key.
You got to start somewhere, and I started. I'm getting better. You would think, as much as I've watched wrestling over the past 40 years, I could do it, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
like all of a sudden everything goes.
Yep, not easy as people think it is.
It is not. I agree with you 100%. Adam had to carry me a lot during the Arnold last year, but it's getting better, and I want to do it again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it's fun. I mean, some guys wrestle just for fun.
Yep, like a hobby, just something to scratch that itch, pretty much.
Right, but Donnie, I had to tell you this. There's a new wrestler with FGW. He was at the car wash yesterday, and Shelby was telling me about him. He's a big boy. Mm-hmm. He's probably a good 6'5".
Nice.
And he drives an Alfa Romeo. It's like, I looked at Shelby and said, he drives an Alfa Romeo. What the hell is he doing wrestling?
Right, yeah.
Well, she said, maybe that's just what he likes to do.
Yeah.
Well, he can afford it. It's not his lifeline.
Yep, just like people joining the softball teams or bowling leagues or going out and grabbing their ball or going out and shooting some hoops and stuff. Kind of the same thing. That's what they like to do. People go hunting. They don't make money hunting. They sit out there all day and most of the time don't get a damn thing, but they still do it.
Well, I understand his son is also starting to train too.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's so much I'm looking forward to when everything opens up again. I'm looking forward to watching future great wrestling shows. I'm looking forward to announcing new Ohio wrestling shows. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to going to different shows. I still want to come up and see War Wrestling. I mean,
Big Tom and them always put on some good stuff.
Yeah, he's given me an open invitation to come up. I want to see that,
Yeah.
And if we're gonna get back to normal, we've got to toe the line.
Mm-hmm. Just for a little while.
Yeah, it's not. You don't have to be happy about it, but just toe the line a little bit. Let's get over this hump because COVID isn't going away unless we make it go away. More and more cases every day. Florida is now number 2 for cases. It used to be New York. Now it's Florida. And a lot of the spread was young people. I mean, they're cooped up. I get it. Mm-hmm. It sucks to be cooped up all the time. But I'd rather be cooped up and healthy than pretend like nothing's going on and catch COVID and possibly die.
Right. Yep.
But enough of the down. I'm tired of talking about the depressing stuff.
Right.
I hate the depressing stuff. What else? I mean, Donnie, this is, we're up and down this show. What else can we talk about? I mean,
well, yeah, like I said, we're talking about, we're revamping New Ohio, or Russell Horror, and New Ohio. We're going to work on that as well.
Right.
But we're going to redo the podcast. We're updating it. We're both learning as we're going, and we want to make this a big podcast that helps people. And so we thought about, like with haunting and wrestling, people just know, like for haunting, they know there's people that work the haunts, and there's got to be somebody that builds the haunts, but they don't realize like all the job roles and the positions and what all it entails. Same with wrestling. You think okay, wrestlers, referees, managers, that's about the gist of it. The promoter, but there's so many more jobs involved in wrestling that people just don't know behind the scenes, and that without these important job roles, that the shows that they see wouldn't be happening the way they are. So we want to start going through, like with wrestling and with haunting, each of these job roles. So we're going to compile a list of every job position that we can come up with haunting and in wrestling, and just briefly touch on them, in future podcasts, and describe the positions, what they entail, and discuss how important they are to that particular, business or company or whatever, And I think it'll be eye-opening for some, that's not full-time in either business. But and it may even, people that are full time may have not thought of this certain position, and brought it to their attention. But like I said, just the wrestlers and the referees that's in the ring. That's not all there is to wrestling. There's a whole lot more that if you don't have this back office support and this behind the scenes support, that wrestling show ain't gonna happen. And same with the haunt. It's not just the actors out there. Scaring people and getting creepy and all that. There's a lot more goes to it before that even begins that people don't realize. And was my wake up call for haunting. Cause like I said, I've dabbled in the haunt industry as a novice, as for fun, like we were talking about earlier, but I was never like a diehard serious about it until a few years ago. And the more jobs, like when we started our trail and started from the ground up, and that's when I got hit in the face of reality, like, holy shit, there's a lot more, there's a lot more to run at a haunted house than I realized. There's a lot of crap going on here. So, I want to start touching on that kind of stuff and see if that'll help people out and help us out as well, and, come up with some ideas and whatnot. So, that was something I wanted to touch on as well about, going to start on down the road.
Well, definitely, and there is a lot that goes into a haunted house production that people don't realize. It's just not actors that go boo.
Right.
The behind the scenes staff is the backbone of what makes everything happen. I mean, from parking attendants to the build team, set designers, there's a lot, that you don't really think about when you go to a haunted house. And I had my wake up call when I started working for Donnie in New Ohio Wrestling, because I was a wrestling fan for 40 plus years, and then I see everything that it's involved in making the show happen. I just didn't realize. I mean, from it's getting the building, doing the booking, writing the show, all this stuff. I mean, I knew how wrestling worked as a mark, okay, but I never knew how deep it went until I started working with Donnie.
Yeah,
there is just so much that goes into these productions.
And a lot of rules you got to abide by as well, permits and insurances and all that crap.
Right. And I didn't even know until I talked to Donnie that wrestlers have to have they have a license from the state.
Some states, Ohio doesn't require it, but there's some, I believe Pennsylvania's one. But there are states where a wrestler actually has to get a wrestling license to be able to wrestle in that state.
Yeah, I mean, who'd have thunk? So yeah, there's a lot we have to cover in future episodes. Donnie's gonna have more of the wrestling side. We'll both work on the horror side, and I've been doing haunt and horror for, I lost count. Professionally, it's been about 12 years, but I've done it much longer than that, going back to my teen years.
Yeah.
These are things people just don't think about.
Oh yeah, yeah. They just think they sit down and they see those wrestlers come out and get in the ring and the referees, and they think that's all there is to it. And I'm like, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish it was that easy. Same with haunting. You go through a haunted house and you're having a blast, and you're screaming and laughing and joking and having a good time, and you just the only thing you can think of is that person got me good. That was a good scare. And there's probably 50 things that has to be done to lead up to that person giving them that good scare. It's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I learned that a referee is more important than he lets on in a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He's not the guy that missed that leg on the rope.
Yep.
Or had his eye turned. We'll get into that, but there's a lot more to a referee than just being the stripes.
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue, but I'm a smart mark now.
Getting there, huh?
Yeah. So I guess, let's wrap this up and just say, follow the guidelines. Let's make things happen sooner rather than later. Let's make everybody get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all want to get back to normal. What that's going to be, we don't know yet. But as long as the cases keep growing, it's not going to happen.
Right.
We've got to reverse the trend.
Yep.
And and the only way we're going to do that is with everybody doing what needs to be done to get rid of this.
Mm-hmm.
Any last thoughts, Donnie?
No, I think we've about covered it, man. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff planned coming down the pipeline, and but yeah, like I said, and in my mind, since we both are in wrestling and haunting, in my mind, the wrestling's kind of on hold at the moment, where our hands are tied, so I've kind of put that to the side, and now I'm just, I'm more concerned on if the haunt season's gonna be able to run. Just like with us in March, we were 2 days from the Arnold, which is a huge event for us. And we got it pulled out from under us at the last minute when the whole Arnold Classic, situation and everything got shut down. So I'm just hoping, that the same doesn't happen with the haunt season, because, it would suck, all these people putting in all this work. And like I said, I know what it takes to build a haunted house, because I helped build a haunted trail from scratch, from just taking clippers and stepping into a woods and having at it. We built it from complete scratch. And, now I'm helping at Carnage, where they're, bought a new building and switching buildings and building a brand new haunt. So I see the work that's involved, and I would just hate to see all these haunts around the country doing all this work, getting ready, and then it get pulled out from under them at the last minute. So, that's what I'm trying to focus on is, help. We're going, like I said, we're revamping the podcast and making it grow. And I'm kind of like hoping that things go good for the haunting, but with the big one in Florida just shut down. That was a big hit. So, I'm kind of, up in the air on, I'm like 50-50 hopeful. So, we're just going to play it by ear, and, really that's all we can do.
I couldn't have said it any better, Donnie. It's going to be a lot of playing by ear.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all in your hands, everybody.
Yep.
Anyway, on a better note, I think I'm going to go get a drink.
There you go.
I hear some bourbon in my future.
There you go. With some ice shaking in a glass, do you?
Yeah. I think my wife's just outside the door here with a jigger. But,
there you go.
Donnie, thanks again. Everybody, viewers and listeners, again, thank you so much for your support. Please let us know. What's that email again, Donnie?
It's wrestlehorror@gmail.com.
Simple as that. But hey, if you want to reach me personally, it's meathookjim@gmail.com.
Yep. Yep, mine's the same, just my name, DonnieHoover@gmail.com. If you want to reach out to me.
Yeah, if you want to reach out to either one of us, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. More listening than watching, but I'm still working on it, I promise. It takes a little longer to render a video than it does an audio podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But okay, enough. We're having a good time. Let's end it on a high note. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll catch you on the next show.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets. Facebook.com/WrestleHorror, Instagram @WrestleHorror, Twitter @WrestleHorror, on our YouTube channel, the Wrestle Horror Channel. Also, you can find us at www.wrestlehorror.com.